Breaking news.
Emergency.
We had to add this last minute.
Why are we here?
Okay, we're here because we have some breaking news in the basketball world that is important to us.
Yeah.
And that is that Nuggets coach Michael Malone has been fired.
Fired.
It was very unexpected, not just by me, who
Yeah.
doesn't know anything about basketball.
Yeah, it's bananas. I mean, this doesn't happen. I mean, this is a team where it's still in play for them to be the 3 seed in the Western Conference.
Right.
And they fired their coach with like 4 games left, or 5 games left before the postseason, and the GM. So what do you know about like what have you heard or know about reasons?
Here's what I know. Those two, Booth and Malone, had some sort of power struggle, and that's all I know.
Okay.
Also, people are very confused about why this happened. I talked to Anthony yesterday. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
And he said that there was talk that Malone had lost the locker room.
Really?
Right. Like, that surprised me, but I don't know that. I'm like very new to all this. So
Yeah. So the rough understanding that I have of the layers of this are, I think Michael Malone kind of famously is hesitant to play young players. He does not like to give players minutes like for them to figure it out while they're playing. He's not very tolerant of mistakes or like learning on the job or whatever. And Booth, from what I've heard, is very kind of attached to and protective of his like draft picks, the talent that he has brought into the building. So someone like Peyton Watson, who we've talked about on this podcast, has been someone like him. I don't know him specifically, but has been a little bit of a source of friction because Booth is like, look, there's something there. Let this guy play. Let's let him get better. Let's figure it out. And Michael Malone is like, no, we're going to stick with like, we're going to play our good players, our veteran proven players. And then kind of hanging over all of that is an apparently cheap ownership group with the Nuggets. I mean, Jokic, they're like out of words. He's doing things that actually no one has ever done before, like relatively regularly in this season. He won 3 in a row, 3 MVPs in a row. Mm-hmm. And this season is better than any of those seasons. They're like, no one's ever done this before. And he still has never played with an all-star. He's still, the team, just like the rest of the players. Apologies to Jamal Murray, who's incredible when he's right, but he hasn't been healthy in a long time, like since that title. Right. And there's like no one else who's like a top, 30 player in the league, top. I mean, you can, that can be debated, whatever, but he has not been surrounded by elite talent. So there's like the Malone piece where he won't develop these guys. There's the Booth piece where he's very attached to the young guys. And then the ownership not extending some of their core pieces from that title team. KCP left. Yeah. He's not having the best season in Orlando, but maybe something about his chemistry with Jokic and the other Nuggets allowed him to thrive there. Regardless, those are kind of the 3 pieces that I'm aware of in this kind of saga.
Well, so now it's going to be an assistant coach is moving up to coach.
Yeah, reputable dude.
All right.
So here's my question to you.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
Man, I don't know. Like, listen, they were probably out at Casa Bonita.
Yeah.
And Michael Malone had too many margaritas. And he was like, guys, I can jump off that cliff just like those cliff divers. And then he did. And Casa Bonita was like, beat it. We're under new ownership. We just remodeled this place. We don't put up with these shenanigans anymore. And he was such a disgrace to the entire city of Denver that they were like, we don't even want you here.
Michael Malone, I drive a Dodge Stratus.
Michael Malone took advantage of the unlimited sopapillas at Casa Bonita. They are really good.
Yeah, what is that?
Let me tell you about Casa Bonita.
Okay.
It's a restaurant in Denver that everyone grew up going to. The food was absolutely terrible. Yeah. It's in a part of town that like you have to drive past like liquor store, pawn shop, gun store, liquor store, just like strip mall after strip mall.
Some press-on nail stores in there. Yeah.
Yes, all of that. Like, yeah, it's all there. And then you get to Casa Bonita. So the food is terrible. It's really expensive. And
sounds great.
But inside, there's like this waterfall. And there's like a guy who dives into the water. And then there are guys who walk around playing the mariachis. And the food is terrible except for the sopapillas. So when you're done, like when you've decided you've had enough of the terrible food, they bring you sopapillas and you put a flag up when you want more. They just bring you more. They're really good. And that's the only part people like. Anyway, during COVID, Casa Bonita went bankrupt. And hometown heroes Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, bought it.
Yeah.
And they remodeled it. And I think it's been fixed, but like the way they were taking reservations was absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
Where like you had to get on a wait list. We were on a wait list for probably 6 months.
Wow. Good for those guys. They created scarcity. That's amazing. Okay.
Michael Malone at Casa Bonita.
So like when people have left places I've worked mid-year, That's not good.
No, it's never good.
It's never very good. At best, the person themselves is just really disgruntled.
So here's the thing. Like, this is something that I wonder if they looked around and they were like, okay, well, the Mavericks did it and the Grizzlies did it. Like, this is something that happens now. People are just like fired whenever we want to be fired. Like, it doesn't have to fit into a schedule. We can just do whatever we want.
Maybe. They must not think they can win this year. You can't convince me that they think that they have a better chance of winning the finals with a new coach with 4 games left. I don't believe that.
So I wonder if, did it like kind of come down to, I can't imagine it came down to one thing, but like Jokic scores 61 points in a game and they still lost.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah. Well, this Russell Westbrook, like.
Yeah. With the hustle.
Russell with the hustle. That game was bad.
Oh, right. He made a mistake.
I think 2, like inside of the last minute or so of overtime, which cost them that pretty important game. And I don't know. I'm wondering if the owner was like, at least about the GM. Like, I was never crazy about that signing. We got him for cheap money, but it's not like, I don't know. I guess this is what happens when something's so like surprising or unpredictable. Like, you have to try to make sense of it. But
wait, so like Russell's locked into a contract, right? Mm-hmm. Is Michael Malone and the GM, are they not in contracts?
Yeah, I don't really understand how that works either. If they can they just fire a player? Like, we're done. We're not paying you anymore.
I mean, I think if they do, there's probably a stipulation in the contract that says like you can be fired, but we'll pay out the rest of your contract.
Right. I wonder if the same thing is true for Michael Malone. What do you think his day was like? Of like, relief?
He was like,
he's like,
I got this email from HR.
Come look at this.
He's like, I gotta go to a meeting at 10.
Does this seem fake? The email address looks right. It looks right.
Right?
We did those phishing email drills, and this is from @nuggets.org.
So he went to the meeting, and he was like, huh?
Yeah.
And then he was like, I got to clear off my desk.
Yeah.
And they were like, we will walk you to your desk.
Right.
While you get your things and look for a box. I don't know, empty out that box of paper next to the copy machine. You can have that box.
Yeah.
And he like had to put his plants and his pictures of his family in the box. And somebody walked him to his pickup truck.
Yeah. Ripped his ID tag off.
Yeah.
Ripped it off. And
they were like, you're done here.
He left the shotgun Willie's. He's like, John Morant, what are you doing here?
He got in his pickup and he drove straight to Glendale to Shotgun Willie's.
Yeah, I bet he did.
I bet he did.
I always wonder, like Tom Brady, the Patriots, one year the Patriots went 16-0 in the regular season. And then they went to the Super Bowl and they lost to the Giants. And the first game of the next season, Tom Brady tore his knee up. Like all the ligaments in there were ruined or whatever. And I always wondered, is there any sense of like relief? Probably not. I mean, these guys must like to compete. And they must like that. But like if I was like an amazing teacher and then in March, someone was like, look, we're not going to have you back for the rest of this year. Assuming money wasn't an issue and assuming that I thought I could get another job teaching the year after, what would my feelings be?
Okay, so we don't need to get too deep into this, but like, have you ever really failed at something before? In a way that like, you couldn't just be like, oh, that didn't work out. But in a way where you had to be like, hey, Mom.
Yeah, I'm in some trouble.
Yeah,
kind of
I have. And I could tell you that like that kind of surprise, even though like with my own failure, like everyone saw it coming from miles away, but like it took years to get over the like shock of somebody else stepping in and saying like, no, you are not good at this. Like that's really hard.
Yeah.
So in sports, I think there's a little bit of a difference because this does happen.
Yeah.
And I think everyone in sports knows that this could be your last season. Like everybody knows that.
Right. And he did have success there.
Right. So I think that like, even though I think he probably wasn't like as shocked as somebody who like just gets fired out of the blue.
Yeah. Like a government employee, say.
Thinking like thousands and thousands of people
doing
in the United
good work
States
all around the world
right now. Like it's shocking and it's demoralizing and it's like, it really not only like takes a hit to your ego, but like this, like in some ways it's existential. Like he might be really I don't know, like how much of his identity is wrapped up in being a coach. And like, I bet he is unhappy and it's possible he's going to bounce back from this and go coach somewhere else and he'll be fine. And he'll look in hindsight like, oh, I'm glad this happened because if this hadn't happened, this other thing, like
good news, bad news.
Exactly.
Who knows? Yeah. And I also think in this situation, it's muddled enough where like he could defend himself to himself.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. I think everyone could. Like the GM could say, like, look, the owners weren't willing to spend money. And Michael Malone could say, like, the GM and I disagreed on which players to get, and I wasn't able to coach the way I wanted to. Or the owners wouldn't spend money on these other good, whatever. I feel like he could. I don't know if he's like looking in the mirror being like, I failed.
I think, okay, that's possible. It's possible. Either one of these is possible. Now, if he's listening, I think that either side of this, he needs to work through with somebody, because that justifiable anger is also like, so like that's almost worse to be like, you know, like, those guys.
Yeah.
Like they did this because they were scared, and they, you know, what are they going to do now? I don't deserve this. Like that's also, it's just like, I don't know, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's just brutal.
It's pretty rough. The side of it that's not brutal is all these guys are zillionaires.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. And it's not that doesn't make problems go away. We've talked about that on this podcast.
Right.
Like he may legitimately be hurting.
Right.
And that's real, but he's not hungry.
Right. And he can afford to like work through this with someone, and at his house probably.
Yeah. Yeah. One of his houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. His therapy house.
Yeah.
All right. I think we did it.
Well, thanks for meeting me in
we
this
did.
very last minute.
Yeah.
Breaking news situation.
Michael Malone fired. We're sorting through the pieces. Hang in there. And the GM. I hope everyone's okay.
Okay. Good job.
Good job.
Bye.
Bye.